Hey marketers, welcome to a new episode of the Marketing Mavericks show. My name is Chris and today I'm joined by Curtis Boyd, the founder of Objectionco, which is a platform to spot fake reviews and remove them automatically online. So first of all, thanks for coming on, Curtis.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you. Okay, so firstly, I'd like to ask you, how does your platform work? How's it possible to get rid of fake reviews so quickly? It sounds very interesting for me as a SaaS founder.
Sure. So, it starts with being able to find them, right? It starts with being able to identify them. We look at both review content as well as reviewer profiles to look for red flags, signs of illegitimacy, right? Um, so various review websites, like Google and Yelp, they have their own terms of service. They have their own content guidelines, their own community standards. And there are certain rules that they have when the things you're allowed to say, right? For example, Google's the only review platform that does not allow profanity. It doesn't allow you to cuss, whereas Yelp allows you to be, totally allows you to use profanity and use colorful language. So depending on what the rules are, we programmed our software to look for those criteria and what's removable, what's illegitimate. And so, yeah, it's really a mixture between reviewer content as well as profile behavior. Like, who else has this person reviewed? Where do they live in the world? What's the timestamp on these reviews? What's their relationship to this business?
Right.
Lots of little things.
Nice. And is it fully automated? Let's say if I log on, if I submit my company name and so on, is there any person doing this review or is it fully automated?
It's fully automated. Yeah. So not only does our software identify illegitimate reviews, but it will actually dispute the reviews as well. So the computer server does all of our fulfillment. So I get to focus on, business growth, development, taking extra good care of our customers.
That's great. And what review platforms is your tool compatible with? Let's say, what are the sites that you are able to flag those reviews?
Yeah, we've got a pretty large list on our site. It's Google, Yelp, TripAdvisor, Trustpilot, SiteJabber, ZocDoc, HealthGrades, Avo, Better Business Bureau, Glassdoor. It's a pretty comprehensive list.
Okay. And what would you say your tool understands as a fake review versus not a fake review? Okay, you already said you look at terms and conditions, what's allowed, what's not allowed. But let's look at the criteria of being a fake review. Where do you draw the line of what is fake and what's not fake?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, we have a pretty good diagram. It's like a Venn diagram with two triangles. In one triangle, you have a real review, right? And then in the other triangle, you have a fake review. And if you merge those triangles together, you get somewhere in between where the review is a little bit real, but also a little bit fake. And that's where untruthful customers live, right? Because what happens is you'll have a customer who writes a review while their experience is real. What they're saying online about your business is not real, right? So we look at the user profile to make a prediction that this is actually a real customer, like this profile is legitimate. But looking at the content, we can say that something's not quite right? Something doesn't look right here, and we score it appropriately. Now, those reviews are the hardest to remove because it's actually a real person. Right. And no one's going to really take sides. The review sites don't really take sides. So it can be hard. A lot of the times those customers, though, will blackmail companies. They'll say, hey, unless, you do this, or that, I won't update my review, or I'm going to let this review sit here.
Right.
And that's when we're able to leverage moderation and get the reviews removed. But, how do you detect fake reviews, right? Like fake reviews generally come with fake profiles, right? and it's pretty easy for AI to spot.
Right.
We have a lot of review fraud metrics like the review pod analysis, the distance matrix analysis. We use NLP, which is natural language processing, to take a look to see if this author is credible. Those metrics, a lot of these various metrics, when you combine them into a master model, make a pretty good prediction on whether this reviewer is a real person,
Yeah.
or whether they're not. I mean, they might be a real person, but it might be from overseas, from a competitor trying to hurt you, or there's a lot of different things that could be happening.
Sounds pretty cool. Like also like the whole technology you built in to be able to come up with those rules. Sounds very fascinating. I was thinking of one scenario where, let's say, obviously there are sometimes customers who are disappointed and who have all that anger they want to get out, right? And they think they're writing it based on their own facts, their own experience. I was thinking, has there ever been a customer where you removed their review and they kind of reached back out to the vendor and complained about the review being removed? Have you ever witnessed something like that?
It happens all the time.
Okay.
So what'll happen is a customer will write an untruthful review, and we'll get it removed for our customers, right? And the end user who wrote the review is like, "What just happened? Like, I had this really great negative review for this business. I was getting them right. I was teaching them a lesson, and all of a sudden that lesson is gone. Like that, they couldn't hurt the company." What they'll do is they'll rewrite another review with a completely different experience, right? Because their first review violated content guidelines. The second review that they write will be totally different, and it won't violate content guidelines. But fortunately, we take screenshots of like what the first review said, and that way we could say, hey, like, were they lying the first time, or are they lying the second time? Because they're lying somewhere, right?
Yes.
How credible could they be? You got to save the screenshots. You got to save the case numbers, because they will come back and then they will play by the rules, so to speak.
Okay.
And they'll try and hurt you again. So just document everything. And
that's a pretty good effort. If you can contribute to, get real opinions heard and filtering out, let's say, something where there's something really wrong with it. Next thing that was on my mind is, how do you differentiate between, or basically, what do you say to your customers that also want negative reviews to be removed, even if they're not violating? Do you then say no to things, or do you still make the effort to remove them?
Yeah, that's a great question. We don't make an effort to remove them at all. Not only is it a huge waste of time for everyone, but real reviews should be on the internet. Like, real negative feedback
absolutely
has every right to exist on their listing. And some of our customers don't agree with us on that, and sometimes we lose customers as a result, and we're okay with that, because our customers, like the customers that we try to attract, understand that negative feedback teaches businesses how to improve, how to evolve their company, what to prevent from happening in the future, right? Because mistakes happen all the time. Things go wrong, and that's okay. Customers use online reviews, like leads and prospects. They read these reviews to ask themselves, if I spend money here, is this company going to take care of me if something goes wrong, right? And so when a bad review comes through, it's not going to ruin you as long as you make an honest effort to make the situation better, right?
Absolutely.
Reaching back out and apologizing, owning up to the situation, doing everything you can to make it right, providing a secondary experience that inspires them to go back and update that 1-star to a 5-star.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say that anytime I see a company where they had a 1-star and it got updated to a 5-star, I know that company really cares about customer satisfaction, or at least their reputation, one of the two. But either way, it's both, and it should be both. And I feel a lot more comfortable spending money there, because I know if if I have a 1-star experience, they're gonna make an effort to make it right, and that's huge.
Very good. That's a good positioning, and I think it's worth losing customers who are not willing to, where you have to compromise. So that's really good that you have this this positioning. And I also always find that the reviews which are constructive, which have both positive and negatives, are the best. So for example, if I buy something on Amazon, I often look at 3-star reviews because I want to see, because those are often people who are very rational, who show you both sides of the fence.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazon reviews is a whole nother ball game, and I agree with you. I love reading negative and 2 and 3-star reviews on Amazon because those are generally the most truthful. It's, for me, it's super, knowing what I know in the fake review space, it's hard for me to believe anything I see on Amazon.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. So you feel that's a whole nother market that you could tap into with your software also?
No, we're not
O-
gonna tap into e-commerce.
Okay.
It's I'm not gonna say it's beyond repair. It's really bad.
Okay.
They're really struggling on Amazon to moderate fake reviews, and competitors are just slamming each other, right and left. The Amazon administration is also really difficult to communicate with and effectively get fake reviews off. I've showcased fake reviews all day to them, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, we're just going to leave it there." So
Oh yeah.
if they're not going to do anything, if they're not going to listen, I'm not going to waste my time and
Yeah.
charge
Interesting.
customers and get involved. I'm just going to let them do their thing until.
That's interesting. I mean, Amazon always claims to be the most customer-centric organization. That's what I think Jeff Bezos always used to say. And I also had a not such a good experience with Amazon. You know, being a vendor for them, being an affiliate marketer, the support was extremely slow. It's maybe they're too big right now to be able to handle that. I don't know, but interesting.
They are a publicly traded company, so they have a very large, board of directors and a large investor group, and those investors want to see return on investment,
Mm-hmm.
right? One of the largest methods of revenue for Amazon isn't necessarily fulfillment,
Yeah.
it's ads,
Yes.
right? It's the people who sell things on Amazon spend ad money with them to get their products listed higher. Now, who do you think are the worst offenders when it comes to those ads, when it comes to writing fake reviews?
Yeah. Of course.
Those ad spenders are. They're
Yeah.
they're they're getting fake reviews all day. So if they shoot themselves in the foot, but by example, if they really, tighten down and do something about fake reviews, they're hurting one of their biggest revenue models, which is their ad spenders.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's hard. It's like, what do they do?
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting. I want to come back quickly to your platform. How does it work? Do you have deep integrations with those other sites, other review platforms? Are there partnerships you have with them? How does
No.
it work technically?
No, most of I'd say Yelp really doesn't like us, just because even though we're trying to clean up illegitimate reviews. Like, if you think about it, we're actually trying to just remove illegitimate reviews. We're trying to make their site even better.
Hmm.
They don't like any. It's not that they don't like us. They don't like any reputation management company really getting involved on their site, being able to say that they can, remove content, being able to say that they can help customers remove bad reviews from their site. They really don't like that. And so we're very careful about how we phrase our service. Like, we make sure to use the words like dispute versus remove. We make sure to let people know we can't really remove anything. All we can do is write a letter asking for removal, right? So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So and then we don't have any special relationship with any of these companies.
Okay.
Sure, they know of our presence because we're living and breathing and eating this stuff every day, and we're writing, so many letters every day. But yeah, in regards to like integration, they don't give us any special treatment, and they treat us just like everybody else.
Right. So is it then still that you say there is some manual effort that you have to write things, or does it happen on autopilot, this activity to get reviews removed?
It's autopilot. Yeah, it's totally autopilot.
Okay. Okay. So then I guess the integration is just various different approaches. Let's say this is your model, how to deal with Trustpilot. This is your way how to, you could probably build some automation to write those messages, and for every platform in a unique way, probably.
That's right. It's a bot. It's a
Okay.
bot
Yeah.
that has its own username and password,
Okay.
logged in, and the customer gives us their credentials, right? The customer gives us their admin. So our bots go in through their credentials
Yeah.
and click all the right buttons because it's been trained to do that.
Yes. Are you like a pure play SaaS company, or do you also do services for customers?
So we're a pure SaaS. For us, it's all the services are fulfilled by our web servers, by scripts, by software. We certainly have a pretty good network of partners, and what we like to do after fulfillment, like after onboarding and during client nurturing, we have a few upsells with partners that offer more direct services, like within the SEO space, within website, design and development. Sometimes we'll identify a need. We'll say, hey, like, we do this, we don't sell this, but I just looked at your website, or I just looked at, some of your SEO stuff, and you need some help. We're not going to help you, but I would recommend these three guys right here. They're fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. That's good. And so is there a good portion of your revenue coming from there? Is that kind of well integrated in your model, or is it still early stage?
It's early stage, but it's good. It's good revenue. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't know how much SEO cost until I really started
Yeah,
referring a lot of that work out.
it
But
does.
yeah.
I mean, I'm in the SEO space myself. That's kind of my background, and there is plenty of potential, because obviously think about all the businesses that have websites. They all have this review problem, more or less, but they all have the traffic problem as well. And so it is absolutely a huge need for that. And I think it's a very interesting idea, very interesting model that you say, okay, in your checkout or however it works, you add those services. So I think that's a great approach. Yeah, and let's look at a few more other things. Let's look at the side of generating reviews. Do you have any tips for a SaaS business on, let's say, one good way, or two different ways to get proper good reviews from their customers?
Yeah, of course. You want to pick the right targets for SaaS businesses, right? That's G2 Crowd, Capterra, GetApp, Google, a few other places. I think Trustpilot's even a good idea. SiteJabber's a good idea. There's a pretty decent list where you can start to generate some feedback and make sure that your page one on Google results just has, nothing but 5 stars up and down. But once you've identified the review sites and listings that you want to focus on, then you need to put together a campaign, right?
Yes.
You could use MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, or you could purchase a reputation software. You don't necessarily need to. You just need to create a sequence, and you need to make sure it's automated. I recommend creating triggers after a client has received fulfillment, because that's usually when they're the happiest, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got the most value from what they spent money on. Timing is really important. You really want to time it when they're the most satisfied, because usually you have a short window of that euphoria of like, oh yeah, this company did good work for me. And then it's like a day goes by, they kind of forget a little bit.
Yes.
Not that your service isn't amazing, but they're just busy. Like, human beings are super busy.
Yeah.
So you have a short window from like the time that you do something amazing for them to actually convert a review. I always recommend getting a video testimonial conversion as the highest priority. That is more valuable than any written feedback. Getting them in front of a camera talking about your business is priority number one for us. Even if you go to our site,
Yep.
you'll see we have plenty of video testimonials because we prioritize them, right? We really try and put cameras in front of our customers. The second most important, in my opinion, is a written review, right? On one of the listings that's important. Using SMS, using text, gets a better conversion rate because it gets more impressions. Like, people check their phones a lot faster than they check their emails. And you know, if you make it really easy by just putting a link in the text and then making the user
Very good.
experience
Yeah.
easy, yeah, whether it's a direct link or whether it's a quick questionnaire, it's up to you. If you're a SaaS, I mean, you're gonna know who's you know, who's super happy with you even before
Yes.
you send it out, probably. So a direct link might be best. Um, Websites like Capterra and G2 Crowd, they allow you to incentivize, right, with gift cards. They allow you to offer a $20 to $50 gift card on Amazon just for leaving feedback, and that's okay with their terms of service. Where websites like Google, that's a big no-no. You do that on Google, and you're going to have trouble. You're going to have, you could get your Google My Business location suspended
Yeah.
for that type of behavior. So you got to be really mindful and really careful about how you approach it.
Mm. Yeah, that's very valuable input. I think also many SaaS businesses stop at the point they don't even ask for the review. And I think it's good that you mentioned, yeah, you got to make it part of an automation, let it run, make sure your people see it. One thing I found interesting is that you said the point of fulfillment. How would you define that for a SaaS? Let's say in our model, just to give you that example, we have a freemium model. Users sign up for freemium, eventually upgrade to pro. Do you have any sort of recommendation on where is the fulfillment here in that model?
Sure. Every SaaS has their own North Star metric, right? Like what is the North Star metric for your SaaS? Like how does your customer get value out of that SaaS, and how do you measure it on the back end, right? Because
Sure.
hopefully every SaaS is doing that. Now,
Yeah, I can tell you, the metrics for us is, if you look at the user journey, it's like they created their first form using our tool. That's one. That's not the best metric, but that's definitely shows they're activated. They have done this step, right?
yeah.
Then they embed the form on their website, and then they generate the first leads. I'd say the North Star metric is they generate at least, let's say, 10 leads from our tool.
Bam. So right there, I would if possible, right, with code, I would set a trigger for when they hit their first 10 leads, and that they're I don't know if that freemium, if that trial is going well, right? You could assume it is because they've gotten some leads.
Yeah.
Now that's a good time to ask. We use a tool called Bonjoro. It's like a Loom, you know, it's like one of these personalized video companies. We will actually create, when we're ready to ask, we'll actually create a video for the person we're asking on camera, just like this, and we'll say, hey, we noticed you got a bunch of reviews removed, and we're so excited. Like we saw, you know, your star rating went from 3.7 to 4.3. You know, and we're super excited to get those results for you. I was wondering if you could leave a review about your experience with us so far. The link is right here, and the link is literally right next to the video where they can click and write us a review.
Yeah.
So taking the time to create personalized videos has helped us as well.
Yeah, that is great. I like the input also on videos, which is a whole nother valuable contribution that you can put on your website as well. We got that as well. We got a few videos. You can certainly ask for more. I think our next step will be to make it part of the funnel of the email automation, to use text message more. We are not asking for the phone number yet, so that's something we could look into.
Yeah, you might want to think about using 2FA.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a two-factor authorization, and it helps secure their account a bit more.
Yes.
And as a bonus, you get to start texting them.
That is a very good point. Yeah, we can look into that for sure. It's very interesting. Okay, so what would you say? One question I had also, like, how long have you been going for with Objection.co?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay. What's up next for you? Any exciting thing?
Yeah, we're releasing a consumer SaaS product. So we're going B2C with our fake review detection, and we're going to market here in a few weeks. We're really excited about it. We've got some pretty big partners like the Federal Trade Commission, hopefully the AARP, and some other, you know, large American organizations who are involved with consumer protection. But we're going to be helping consumers identify fake reviews on sites like Google and Yelp, and we're going to be, selling it as a SaaS product. So rather than being just exclusively B2B like we are right now, we're opening our net to hopefully the entire ecosystem, and
Yeah,
we'll be
that's,
serving consumers now as well.
that's great. And that sounds like a really great move. And I think if someone is interested, they can go to your website, I guess, right? Objection.co.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Very good. Okay. It was great to speak with you. And I'm sure there's many good things in there for SaaS founders, B2B brands, and so on. I think the market, the value proposition you have, the market you're serving with review removal, when we got talking, is something that I really found interesting. So yeah, I hope there's value in there for all of you. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you. Take care.